your host, Joseph Decker. For those that don't know, we have a really big episode here today, guys. We got Warren East hopping on here. We have a few guys behind the scenes, some players, then head coach Kyle Binge. We'll get those guys in here in a second, but we got some things we want to talk about first. We had a really good episode yesterday. Did a good amount of views around all platforms. Got to talk to Jacob Meyer, now playing at DePaul at the Division One level. So we've had some really good guests hopping on here as of recent, but I expect this to be a really good one. We got some high energy guys on here. We're going to be giving them some tough questions. So we'll see, if they can answer questions in the moment. Making sure the Facebook's up. We got a lot of people tuning in here on Facebook today. So always going over there and making sure and it's up. Thank you, everyone. We've had a lot of hype around this episode. I want to give a big shout out to Jason Hogue for that. He's been spreading this episode like crazy, man, making sure everybody sees. And then we got some local sponsors sponsoring who has some friends in here and everything. So it's a really good environment. Really good show to get in the know with East. So it's going to be fun. I don't want to take too long to get into this, but how about we go ahead and throw up these sponsors and talk about them a little bit. I say it every time, but at the end of the day, this show would not be possible without our sponsors. So let's get those up here if this would load a little quicker than expected. But once again, we got a lot of people hopping in here early, so thank you so much for hopping in for this show. Hoping it's going to be a good one. And there's our sponsors, folks. Let's talk about them a little bit. First up is Ronald Scott Lindsay, Judge Executive from Evanston County, Kentucky. Shout out my guy, Ronald, a longtime supporter who's been here with us for a little while. So, it's always good to have him hop on. I also want to give a big shout out to Lizzie May Outdoors, furniture and outdoor designing by Jennifer Gravel, beautiful designs and landscape work. The Bee Spring Lumber Company, lumber and wood company located across from Hubsville Church. It is all owned and operated by the Wood family. Hayes Towing Service is a towing service located in Smiths Grove, Kentucky. They do business with all around surrounding counties and do really great work. That's Barron County, Warren County, Edmonson, Hart, everywhere around here local. Elkins Grove is owned by Miranda and Kelsey Elkins. It's a beautiful venue that's often used for marriage. Be sure to leave them a follow on their social medias and contact them. That's in the bottom right. Rafferty's is an amazing restaurant located in Bowling Green, Kentucky. They have great staff, great ownership, and great food. Other locations around the state. So I want to say thank you, Scott Lindsay, for throwing out that. Kentucky American Seeds is an organization and business to do seed work with. Below is the contact for one of their affiliates, Jonathan Hodges. There's his number and his name. Quantum Flex Training is a training facility and gym located in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Tremaine Pillow is a very hard worker and looks to push his clients to the best work. The phone number to contact him is listed there. It's in the bottom left. Grable Funeral Home is dedicated to those we serve. It's a funeral home located in Brownsville, Kentucky, once exiting the bridge. The P.O. box and number is listed in the middle. Premier Asphalt is an asphalt company located in Brownsville, Kentucky. It is owned by Derek Souders, and the way to contact them is listed below. The two numbers on the very right. We recently shared some of their nice work they did on Facebook, so make sure to go give all these guys a follow on media. Heartland Realty and Auction LLC paired with United Country Real Estate. That is our close friend Chris Grable, a very long-time supporter. Way of contacting him is listed there below, 270-783-3000. That's all of our sponsors we have for the show today, guys. I want to thank them all so much for doing the work they do for us. Once again, I couldn't be more appreciative of them. I always say the show's not possible without them, so I want to thank them so much. We're about to get the guys behind scenes to hop on. The show will probably run about, 35, 40, 45 minutes in that range. We got a lot of questions. I want to talk to Binge a little bit. There's been some talk behind scenes talking about the fourth region, so this should be a fun episode, and guys, we're going to go ahead and get these guys on here. Caleb, Brendan, Jordan, Watt, and Coach Binge, of course. Guys, what's up, man?
What's up?
What's up? How you doing?
A lot of people's been pumped about this episode, guys. We've been sharing it across the medias. People's been wanting to hop in here, hear from you guys. There goes Coach Binge already. But I want to talk to you guys a little bit, introduce yourselves, and talk a little bit about the summer and the AAU experience. We'll start with Caleb, and then we'll go to Brendan, then we'll go to Jordan, and we'll end off with Watt. So, Caleb, how's the summer been, man, and how's it been going?
It's been a pretty good summer. Learned a lot of stuff, and yeah, just been a pretty good summer.
Yeah, my summer mostly consisted of baseball. I didn't play any AAU this summer, but yeah, just traveling for baseball all summer. Had a really good year.
AAU season this summer is pretty fun. Was on a brand new team, Drive Elite. Got to play with one of my teammates this year, Ethan. Got to build a lot of chemistry, go to a lot of new places, playing new gyms. Overall, just fun. Got to learn a lot of stuff and play good basketball.
Yeah, summer's been great so far. getting into Sawyer. I had a big AAU season. Played with Moss Elite in the E40 circuit, but I'm mainly playing every weekend. Just getting that work in.
Coach, I'll ask you this, man. How's the summer been? Have you been busy? What have you been up to?
Yeah, we had a really busy summer. We played about 20 to 25 games. It was really good for a lot of our younger guys. As Brendan stated, we played a lot of baseball this summer. Dane played a lot of football. So, to have two starters basically not be a part of anything, besides a couple games, which is fine. So it put a lot of guys in, in different situations, different lineups. So, it was really good. We played a lot of great competition. We went to Western Kentucky. We played at Collins, the big tournament that everybody goes to, towards the end. So altogether, it was a really good summer. And then, July is all about the guys getting into their AU teams and, getting better individually.
Coach, talk about the success rate a little bit. You talked about Collins, the Western camp, were you guys winning a lot of games, seeing some growth spurts out of these guys. How'd these guys play on the screen, man, and how was the team success?
I honestly don't know our summer, what our overall record was. I think if you're keeping track of wins and losses in the summer as a coach, you're probably not concentrating on the right things. For our guys that were there, we played extremely hard. All these guys, KP had a really good summer. Jordan had a really good summer. It's just all about building chemistry. Getting Wyatt back from Edmonson County is going to be big time for us. And then we got guys on, that aren't on here that had, an opportunity to take a big step, with guys being out. So, and then, we had 3 incoming freshmen that ran with us the majority of the summer as well. So, it's an exciting time, but it's, I tell it's a long season. It's still early August. We've been, in the gym doing stuff already as school started last week. So, it's all about staying healthy and, keeping our minds right.
Coach, you talked a little bit about the roster, man. We've got these guys on here today, but is there any other guys we need to get to know, man, get familiar with?
Well, I mean, it's obviously not until to tryout start. We lost, 4 seniors. We're on track. We could have 7 seniors. We could have 9 seniors. It just kind of depends on how things go. Like I said, we had 3 freshmen that practiced with us the majority of the summer, then played up with us. Warner Combs, Luke Barron, Cooper Doyle. So that it's really good to have some young players along with a lot of our older guys. Like I said, Dane Parsley, a stud football player, didn't play a whole lot for us this summer. B didn't play a whole lot because he was traveling with baseball. I tell kids all the time, like, I really concentrated on basketball. I didn't do a whole lot of, other things, in the summer. So, with them wanting to get away and concentrate on their first sport, like, it's amazing, to see what these 2 or 3 sport athletes go through, especially, the grind of summers, like playing a ton of baseball and then going back to basketball. Like it can put a strain on your body. So it's just, I wanted them to be able to concentrate on, getting college offers in those areas. So you throw in these guys on the screen. Ethan Sloan will be a senior. Then you got Chase Compton, Keaton Deal. Let's see who else shouldn't be forgetting anybody. Who else we got, boys? Don't put me on the spot. Isaiah Summers will be a junior. Jacob Miller, yes, Jacob Miller.
Jacob.
Yeah, and I think that's yeah. So
that's it.
we've got an opportunity. We've got an opportunity to be a really deep team. We've got a lot of kind of mixing and matching that we could do. We could do a really big lineup. Play a lot of guys. In the 3, 4, 5, and then mix it up with the guards. So. It's exciting, but, it's August. We've got a long ways to go. And, this time's just all about getting better individually and, just staying healthy because you don't want injuries right now before October even starts.
Oh, yeah. I want to get to talk to the guys a little bit. You know, if you're not as familiar with this Warren East team, I want these guys to kind of talk about their game a little bit, introduce themselves a little more. Caleb, kind of tell us a little bit about your game, man. You were a 15-point per game scorer last season. You know, what can we expect out of you when we watch you, man?
A lot of ball dominant, a lot of great reads, IQ passes, and what I've been working on a little bit this summer is shooting. So hopefully, y'all see a lot more shooting this season.
I want to ask the rest of the guys that. Go on with Brendan, then on to Jordan, and then Wyatt. If a guy comes into the gym, wants to know about you guys, you know, what can they expect to see out of you?
I think my main thing is probably shooting the ball. You know, I average most of my points off of that. But also, I feel like I'm a really good defender around the rim and rebounding. And then also during the summer, I've gotten a lot better at driving and, you know, trying to dunk it because there's nothing more exciting than that.
Yeah.
I'd say a lot of shooting. I do a lot of shooting. I love it. I love to drive it, you know, a lot. Even sometimes when I should shoot it, and I get told that a lot. But no, I like getting to the rim. But my main thing I'd say would be, you know, shooting threes and making them, of course.
A lot of last year, my main game was just posting up, but you know, I worked over the summer just trying to become more versatile, attacking the basket, handling the ball a little bit more, and trying to develop more of a shot. So I'm just trying to add in those things in my game, just make me harder to guard. And then, you know, I like to guard 1 through 5 on defense.
Wyatt, you mentioned coming back, man. You played at Edmonson County last season, but you're back in blue at Warren East, man. You know, how hard of a decision was that for you, man? Are you happy to be back?
I'm glad to be back. You know, I've grown up with these guys. I played with these guys all my life. You know, I'm glad to get stepped back on the court with them. I mean, it means the world to me.
Coach, how does it feel to get a guy in Wyatt Grable back on this team, man? A double-double threat every night. He was actually top 50 in the state last season in field goal percentage. How does it feel to get him back, man?
Yeah, I mean, when Wyatt, you know, decided to leave and, you know, go to Edmonton, it was a lot of, you know, personal and family, you know, reasons for that move. And, you know, for me, you know, we had a sit-down conversation. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, they're kids, 15 to 17-year-old, 18-year-olds. Like, you know, sometimes, you know, life is a lot bigger than sports. And in that situation, like, it was just, you know, the best for him to go back. And, you know, getting him back, you know, for his senior season, you know, to be able to finish out, you know, where he started, like you mentioned, with all his teammates. You know, it's just big for him. And then, you know, anytime you can get a guy that's, you know, averaged a double in one of the, you know, I consider the fourth region, you know, very difficult, but the third region last year was really good as well. So, you know, he's going to be a really good player for us. And he fits the culture at Warren East really well.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, to add a little bit of humor to it, I know this would happen before. We already got people talking about Jordan looking like Slim Shady in the comments, so I want to go ahead and bring some attention to that. You got some guys in the comments making some comments about Jordan. But, you know, Coach, last season you guys went 19-11, 14-5 in region. So when you look at the region play, you guys had a really successful time. But, you know, talk about the fourth region a little bit, man, and what makes it so special and, you know, kind of hard to get out of, you know, district even at times.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe a lot of people might have thought, you know, last year was a big surprise, you know, the year before, you know, losing 7 seniors, you know, winning a district, you know, getting to a region semifinal. But, you know, we were kind of in that situation when you have 7 seniors. There was a lot of guys, a lot of these guys, you know, were younger, you know, didn't have that experience. You know, maybe, you know, we only had 2 or 3 guys with varsity experience leading into last year, but it took a couple weeks for me to realize, like, I thought we could be, and I thought we were about as good as what we were, you know, the previous year. You know, we played really well. You know, like I said before, I think the fourth region is the hardest region in the state. And I think that numbers kind of back that up, you know, in the last 10, 15 years. You know, when I got this job, you know, 4 years ago, you know, that's all you could hear about, you know, is Bowling Green and Warren Central. And you have to, you know, tip your caps to them because, you know, until someone knocks them off the throne, I mean, they're always going to be the favorites in the region. So for us, I don't even really worry about that. And I hope our guys don't worry about that. You know, it's just one step at a time. And, you know, I think we should be humbled from, you know, what happened, you know, at the end of last year, you know, the way that we lost to Glasgow. You know, I hope that, you know, that sticks in the back of our mind, you know, every workout, every practice, you know, because for me, it still stings. But to have a bounce back moment, for these guys heading into this new season, I'm hoping that it kind of springboards, our year.
Coach, you talked about taking that job 4 years ago, man. How much does this job at Warren East mean to you, man? You have a fourth region coach of the year under your belt, man. You've got a lot of respect from guys around the state. How much does it mean to you to have this job?
Well, I mean, I've told people, when I left Northwest Indiana, the job that I was at, I left before I had anything, and I just kind of put it in God's hands. My wife is from Bowling Green. She went to Greenwood High School and then went to Western. So we had always talked about if, a job ever, came available. And about 2 weeks after I resigned, the Warren East job came open. I did a lot of research on it, came down, and it's been awesome. It's everything that I've hoped for. It's a dream job. I really, I would love to be here. I've got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. I would love for my girls to be able to graduate from Warren East. It really is family. Really didn't know what to expect coming in, but it's just a tight knit community, and it saved my basketball career. It really did. And, all the awards and things like that. Like as a coach, that means a lot, but it's a player driven game. Without these guys, without the guys 2 years ago winning a district, making it to a region final, a region semifinal, without those guys, I wouldn't be anything. And I know that. The guys I've ever coached with, in college and as an assistant coach, you kind of know, coaches, they might think that they do a whole lot. They really don't. Motivate, get guys, that to make them believe that they can do things, and then just let them go out and just kind of be themselves on the court. So a lot of those awards are because of the players, a lot of these guys on this screen.
Coach, I talk about the respect you have across the state. I show so much respect to you. Talk about you being a great coach, but I want to talk to the guys a little bit. We'll start with Caleb. We'll kind of keep going to this little line of the way guys are listed. What is it about Coach Binge that you guys kind of know? What makes him such a great coach, kind of a leader for you guys?
Just I don't really know, man. He a good coach. He knows what he's doing. He's just an overall good person, and he makes the best come out of you. Like, he's gonna motivate you to do the best that you can do, and he's just a great coach and all.
Yeah, I feel like as a person, he's a really good person, but as a coach, he knows what he's talking about. He knows how to get people open, especially I'm a shooter and he's a shooter. He knows how to get me open at the right time. In practices, he don't make us play like robots in the game and stuff. Like, we do a lot of running stuff, but it's not just running. Like, we also have the ball and we're like doing fives or stuff like that. We're just not playing as robots,
Obviously, Ben's played, pro ball, so he knows what he's talking about when it comes to the game. But it's always a fun environment, in practice and just being around him in general. So there's never, it's never really a dull moment. And it's not like, we just go into practice and we just do things that aren't going to help us. We always get better when we go in there and do things that are just going to help us work on our game and translate to the season.
Yeah, he's not just a coach. I mean, he has a bond with all of us. I mean, that helps on and off the court. He's really great at pushing us, and I mean, he's so knowledgeable about the game. And he's just really good at getting us where we need to be.
One thing guys really love to talk about on here, they love when I ask this, is to talk a little bit about sports rivalries. In the state of Kentucky, it's kind of the best it is. And, I want to ask about the rivalries you guys have at Warren East, maybe the Bowling Green schools. You talk about the district with Glasgow, Barron. What are some of those games that you guys have that you kind of look forward to, and those teams that, those are must-win games? I want y'all to speak on the environments that those games bring, and, how do you guys approach them? We'll start with Benj, and we'll go in this order.
I'm kind of new to the district and to the region, so for me growing up in high school, I knew my rivals, I knew the schools. Down here, I would say, all the district games we play, are really big time games, whether, it's Allen, Barron, Glasgow. I think that anybody you would ask would say the same thing when it, comes to, playing district rivals, when you only get, 6 games, and those 6 games, mean the seeding leading into the district and can get you to, a region. Um, we haven't played Warren Central or Bowling Green the last 2 years, but we are playing them. We have them back on the schedule, at our place. So I think that's, big for our community, big for our fans. And I think those will be, exciting games. So I would say, adding those two back in with, we play Greenwood, we play South Warren, all the Warren County schools. We get an opportunity to go to Butler County and play them in the 2A game, which is going to be, they're a top 5 team in the state. That's going to be, the third game of the year for us. That will be a big test, especially at Butler County. So our schedule is pretty strong this year, but for us, I think that's a good thing. Just to get our guys battle tested, and ready to go and know, we've been in those moments before to where we can, play well, towards the middle of February.
I just really have to go off what Coach said. Just really everybody in our district for real. It's always a tough game against Glasgow, Barron, Allen, but the environment's always great, and we're always ready for the game.
Yeah, I also think the district they're all really big games, but I really like the Central and Bowling Green being added back to the schedule because, Bowling Green's really, really good, and so is Central. And playing them this year is not only going to help us, but it's just going to get us good competition to play against.
Man, just I'm ready to play Glasgow and Barron again. You know how we went out last year. We get I'm ready to play Glasgow again, of course, and then the Barron losing to them twice. It didn't, it's not sitting right. So I feel like I'm ready for those games. It's always good environments at away games, especially them two. But yeah.
Yeah, like they said, anybody in the district, it's going to be competitive. I feel like, there's a push to win there, and we just want to come out on top, and I feel like that's going to push us as players, coaches, fans. We're all going to be into it. It's going to just help us go forward and win.
Benj, you've got to watch these guys more than everyone. You get to coach them. You got to see the summer display, things like that. As of right now, man, going into the season, what can we kind of expect out of this team, man?
Well, if we can all stay healthy, I think that's one thing. We've got, a couple guys in football that are going to be key contributors for us, but it's just taking it day by day. I would say one thing that this team showed this summer's, our team chemistry, and I'll be completely honest, not every team, gets along. They scrap, they fight, during practice, but I feel like this group, can do those things in practice, but then, they all love to hang out together. You're not looking, where there's 3 or 4 guys in one group, 3 or 4 guys in the other group. Like, for us to be really successful this year, we're going to have to be a family. And, families fight, they argue, there's going to be tough times. There's going to be really good times. So, for us, it's just, staying in that moment, because in a 30-game season, you're going to have ups and downs. Everything's not going to be great. You're going to have those moments to where, how are we going to respond? And I feel like, that was something that, we struggled with, a little bit last year. And I'm hoping with, our leadership and guys getting older that, you can always play hard. It's, it's not always easy. But this group is really, really talented. I think can be, one of the best teams I've ever coached. And I say that, and I really, truly do believe that. But at the end of the day, it's what they're going to do with those opportunities. It's just a day-by-day process, staying in the gym. That we've got a bunch of gym rats, as a coach, in July and August, they're always, hey, let's get in the gym. Let's get me on the gun and let's get shots up. And I'm a gym rat. That's how I grew up. I'm never going to make kids, do stuff. You kind of want, teams to be player-driven, not coach-driven. And if you get guys that will lead and will do those things, we're gonna be really good.
Oh yeah, man. This team I think has a lot of potential to be super good. You're coming off a 19-win season. The expectations are still really high. We look at the fourth region like we talked about with teams like Bowling Green, Glasgow, Barron County, Central. I want to talk to some of the guys though, man. Who are some of the players in this realm, in this region, that, kind of give y'all competition. There's some certain guys on certain rosters. I want y'all to talk to them a little bit, talk about them a little bit. We'll start with Caleb, man. Who's some guys that in this region, are dominant, tough players that you're ready to play against?
From Central, just Cash, Armani, people like that. Greenwood, their point guard, Asher, Bowling Green, they always have a good team. So they're basically their whole team. And just really, yeah. Glasgow as well with Jarek Martin and all of them as well.
Yeah, for Glasgow, like KP said, Jarek's really, really good. He's really tall. He's really athletic. And then going to Barron County, you have Tate Smithman and Bray Bealey. They've been playing varsity for probably their whole high school careers. They know what they're doing, and they're just really good players.
Man, there's really nobody else to cover kind of what everybody said, but, the Greenwood, Nick, and Asher, and having to go play, Glasgow, Jarek, and Central, the other Jarek, super tall, athletic. So, yeah, tough opponents for sure.
Yeah, the fourth is really competitive. I've been away from it for a little bit, but, from the teams that we did play, there's always really competitive guys, especially, I played Barron a few times this past year, guys like Tate, Josh moving in there, they got a really solid team.
Coach, I want to ask your opinion on this. It's a hot topic that people talk about all the time, the transfer portal, man. It kind of started in college, getting a big name and kind of starting to, get some attention. But now in high school, we see guys, leaving, going different spots, doing what's best for them. What's your opinion on the transfer portal, man, as a whole?
I guess I grew up in a different time, in a different, even though I graduated in high school from 2005, I remember, growing up and playing with, my same group when I was in second and third grade. So, with that being said, it's a different generation. It's a different world. Everything that's happening in the college portal is transitioning down to, high school. For myself, I would love for guys, to stay and compete, and grow, together as a community. I was one of those guys, I played 4 years of high school at the same place. I played 4 years of college at the same place. Every situation is going to be different, obviously, but for me, not everything in life is going to be, perfect. You're going to have to work really hard for it. And I feel like even in the college portal, it's kind of one of those things where if something's not handed me, I'm just going to go to a different place and maybe, not just stay there and, work hard and, try to get the spot back. But, it kind of is what it is. You you adapt or you die, one of those situations. But, for me, we haven't had, we've had a couple here and there, but, for the most part, we've had a lot of guys stay, and I think it's been good. So it's kind of each their own. I know other coaches probably have, other opinions on it, but I love the team that we have. So I just kind of coach Warren East and let the others worry about all that other stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's a fun thing to see. I'm a firm believer in, what's best for the guy, doing what's best for him. But we talked about it a little bit. I got to mention Caleb, being a 15-point per game scorer, Wyatt comes off a really good season. Jordan talks about his game, being an elite shooter. Brandon kind of talks about the same thing too. But, this summer's been all about work. When you go to AAU, you go to these camps, you get better as a player. So I want to start with Caleb. What can we expect to see jump in your game this year? Not just statistically, but also mentally.
I say leadership. That's one thing I've been working on a lot this summer. I just want to make sure all my teammates come together as a team, especially when things are getting hard in the game. So it's really leadership.
Yeah, like KP said, I would like to be more of a leader than I was last year as well. And then also, I feel like I need to work on my defensive game and really just helping everybody out on defense. If a younger man comes in and you don't know what he's doing, just to talk him through it.
Yeah, kind of what they were saying. Of course, being a senior, one of the older guys on the team, even though we've got a few, just leadership, being able to get my team together, even, in the hard times, being able to come together and, strive even through the hard times.
Yeah, like they said, leadership, that's huge being an older guy, just guys and other guys to where we need to be to win. I think, biggest thing this year, just coming out to win, having that drive to win, because I think, as a collective, we all want to go out there and do the best we can do.
A big thing you guys speak on is leadership, improving, Brendan, a big thing you highlighted was, helping a younger guy, when he gets on the floor, kind of helping him out. So I want to ask you this question. It's something we ask every athlete, you guys might still think, well, I'm not at the next level yet. I'm still kind of young myself, but, if a guy comes up, a guy in middle school, just now getting varsity minutes, maybe, a JV kid, they ask for advice, they want to know how to get better. Caleb, what kind of advice would you give a younger athlete, man, coming to talk to you?
I really just say defense, because that's how I earned my spot on varsity. I just work my way up, just trying to play defense as hard as I can, and just really like whatever you specialize in, try to use that a lot. Like if you specialize in ball handling, and coach wants you to do that, just do that. If you specialize in shooting, just listen to your coach and try to do everything he wants you to do.
Yeah, I would say staying in the gym and always talking, because communication is like the most important thing when you're on the court. If you're not talking, then nobody's going to know where to go or do.
Just staying in the gym, one thing I was always told growing up is no matter how hard you're working, somebody's probably working harder. Of course, working out at the 9 and stuff, and I always used to stay after and kind of watch the older guys like Turner and Terry stay and work out, and man, it's hard. They never stop. It's always game reps. So what you're doing, make sure it's efficient and it's always game like.
I would say always doing the little things, whether that's from setting a good screen to diving on the ball. I say that's the biggest thing that a coach is going to put you on the floor for. It's not always about scoring points or getting rebounds or all that. It's about all of the little things that's going to help you win.
Coach, in Warren County, there's so many kids with the goals and the dreams to play basketball, man. There's so many growing up in elementary school, finally starting to take those chances, whether it's Little League or Rec League. We even have AAUs at those levels, man. What's something that you notice in an athlete and a basketball player quick? What's a good thing kids need to kind of, show and, bring to the table? What's something you notice?
I guess one thing that I notice, and it's probably just because, I've played at the high school level, played at the college level, coached at both of those levels, but I would just say body language. When I was an assistant coach, I would go watch kids and I would just look at body language. Like, you can go watch kids and know, hey, that he's going to be, Division II level, or he's going to be Division I, or he's going to be NAIA. He's not ever going to play college basketball. Those right away. But for me, it was like, hey, like everybody can have a great attitude when things are going well. What are they going to look like when things aren't going well? For me, that's kind of what I focus on is the body language, and then just being a good teammate. Whether that's being the first guy off the bench to give a high five, which is difficult. As somebody that might be on the bench and somebody has a bigger role that's starting. We live in a generation where a lot of people don't want that player to play well. I mean, it is what it is. To be a really good teammate, to be a really good team, you got to have guys that, can sacrifice. So for me, that's what I look at. And then obviously, the fundamentals. I think the fundamentals of the game has really gone by the wayside. You see a lot of kids that, can't do a proper jump stop, can't play off 2 feet, shoot 20% from the 3-point line, shoot 60% from the free throw line, play 1,000 AAU games, do all this stuff. But, for me, hey, get in the gym, get better individually, take your 3-point shot from 30% to 40%. So for me, it's just being a gym rat, but just working on different aspects of the game, like Caleb said, if you're a defender, be a really good defender. Like Wyatt said, for me, one big thing for us this year is, there's only one basketball. Guys' roles are going to be different. We got a lot of guys that can score the basketball. We need guys in roles that, will go get rebounds, take charges, do the little things. And I think a lot of guys don't understand if you do those little things, you're going to stay on the court. And that's just not for me. That's for a lot of coaches in this region and all around the state. So, but yeah, I know that was a long answer, but I've seen a lot of youth programs and things like that, but it's just, hey, teach the fundamentals and play hard and play together and should be good.
Well, Coach, we kind of expect long answers out of you, man, with your past, your experience, the coaching performances you've already put up down, man. It's really good to get that out there. We had a comment on here that said if everyone continues with this team to play with the team before me mentality, they are poised to make some major noise and make a deep run in, district and region this year. So I think kind of what you hinted on, there's a few people who agree with that. I want to ask some of the players this. We'll start with Caleb and we'll end it right, obviously, man. You look at your team now, you got to play with them a lot this summer. This is from you guys, not the coach. What's some of your expectations for this team? How far do you think this team can go? How motivated are you guys to make a run? And, there's always a chance of making the state once you get in region. So talk a little bit about that. We'll start with Caleb and we'll end with why.
I really think our team can go really far this year. If we just come together as a brotherhood and all just lock in together, we can go as far as we want to go. My expectations for this team is just better than last year, really. Like, we had a lot of ups and downs last year, but I really feel like our ceiling is high this year. And if all of us lock in together, we can go as far as we want.
Yeah, like KP said, it's all about staying together. If we stay together, like this year in the 4th region, there's usually this team's going to win the region easily. But this year, it's kind of like all spread out. You don't really know. Of course, you have favorites like Bowling Green and Central, but, I mean, it's really anybody's game this year.
Man, what hurt last year with that last loss to get that 20-win season, I expect us to have a 20-plus win season and for us to make a deep run, into region. Like they said, playing together. I mean, I love playing with these guys, and I feel like we all feel that way. We love playing with each other. But, yeah, I feel like if we stick together, we can, make it far.
Yeah, like they said, staying together, just working together, like the comment says, team before me, always just being together is going to be our biggest thing. And I think we can go pretty far. I think we can beat just about anybody on any night. It just all depends on how we bond together and go out and work.
Coach, a big thing we kind of talked about, I got to look up and learn a little bit about you, man, was, playing at the collegiate level, and not just stopping at high school. I'm sure all these guys, whether it's with Brendan, if it's baseball or basketball, and I know with the others, with that dream of basketball, a lot of those guys want to play at the next level, go on to college, don't just stop at high school. As a guy who played in college and got to play with college level material every day, what do you think that, these guys are wanting to go play at college? Do you see, college characteristics in these guys, listed below us, and, can they make it to that level?
Most definitely. The college level, whether it's, baseball, basketball, football, we've got some guys that are going to have those opportunities. And, it's not all about athletic ability, a lot about character, a lot about grades. A lot of these guys can get scholarships, based off of academics, And that's one thing that I really didn't take seriously that I talked to a lot of kids about was, my first semester in college was not very good. It was kind of a wake-up call for me. To get back on track. And I tell guys all the time, at some point you're going to give up, you're going to be done playing football. You're going to be done playing baseball. You're going to be done playing basketball. Luckily for me, I got to play a couple of years longer than others, but, at the end of the day, it's what you do, to get your education, to, provide for your family. I wouldn't be in the position that I was, without, my college degree. And, I know a lot of these guys, have lofty expectations and goals like that, but just stay in the moment. I know we've got, maybe 8 to 9 seniors, and it's a lot of pressure. It really is. I remember my senior year and the pressure of wanting to sign and do things. And, I regret sometimes, not taking in the moments and enjoying my last, my senior season with, guys that, we had 8 seniors as well, kids that I played with since I was in 2nd grade. So, I mean, they know. I mean, the expectations from parents, from outside family members, I mean, it can be through the roof. And sometimes you just got to understand there's 15 to 17-year-old kids. Like, at the end of the day, let's just go out and play the game of, for the love of the basketball. And I know if our guys can do that, and play together as a team, we're going to be pretty dang good.
Oh, yeah. Coach, you've got to witness, being in Indiana for a long time. Now you've been to stay here in Kentucky for a little while, get to see things, and right now a thing that's a hot topic is we have lots of high-level basketball players leaving the state, going to prep schools, overtime elite recruiting, so many guys being recruited by these bigger things. Let me ask you this. How can KHS stay keep some of these guys, here in the state? That's a big question. People's wondering, how can we keep these guys here in Kentucky? Is it exposure? What is it, you think?
I mean, that's a really good question. That's probably for somebody that's a lot smarter than me. For myself, it is about exposure. And I do get it. We have had it happen in Indiana where a lot of guys might be at a low major, mid major, and think, hey, I've got to go to a prep school and be seen more. Now, is that always the right answer? No. For some, it might be, but it kind of gets back to as a high school coach, there's the relationships that you can build, and it's on a need to a person-to-person basis. Like if somebody came to me and was like, hey, like this is a better opportunity, it's going to give me better exposure. As a coach, if you really care about that person, at the end of the day, like it's probably will probably be a good thing. Now, if you've grown up in a community, a lot of these guys that are leaving, at the end of their junior seasons that, have an opportunity to be a Kentucky All-Star, like for me, like that'd be very difficult to leave the state, knowing as a junior I could be, Mr. Basketball in Kentucky and going somewhere for a year. Because I've been in the college game. I know how coaches are. I know it might be a lot of talk, a lot of promise here and that, and then you get there, it's not what is expected, and then guess what? About a couple weeks later, hey, so and so's not enrolled at prep school anymore. They're back at the school they were at. So, I can't judge for other coaches and things like that. But if you build relationships with kids, and especially with where we're at with our community, I think a lot of guys are going to want to stay and finish out.
Coach, I've got to see a lot of the region, man, a lot of the district. I really do think you guys have the chance, to win the district. That's my favorite for you guys too. And I think you guys can make a really big push in the region. A lot of you guys talk about a 20-plus season, as expectations. I don't know the whole schedule, but with the talent you all have, I believe that. We've talked about, your guys' summers, expectations, things like that. So I want to let all the guys, all the players talk one more time. Leave us off with something here, man. What's something you guys want to say? We got a lot of people in here. Let the fans know before we hop off.
I just say be ready because it's gonna be an exciting season, whole lot of good stuff, and hopefully we can make that run in region and maybe go to state.
Yeah, this season's going to be exciting. We have a lot of athletic players that could really, get the games going. We have KP, an amazing point guard, knows how to move the ball, I would just say that, I think we're going to make a deep run in region, and I hope for the best.
Man, just, like they said, be ready. Warren East, I'd say we're going to be really good this year. I feel like all of our players, especially, the top ones even from last year, we've excelled a lot. All of us have gotten better, whether that's with things we were already good at or, things that we weren't so good at. But, yeah, just come watch us, man. It's always a good environment at Warren East. Our student section is always good. It's always a good environment. So,
Yeah, I would just say don't mark us off your list. I think we're all willing to do what it's going to take to win. And I think we can make a deep run in region, and there's no telling where we'll end up. We have a lot of talented guys. We can go really far.
Coach, these guys are so hyped and pumped up about this season, man, with high expectations. The people are ready to see this. How are you feeling about this season, Coach? How hyped are you for this, man?
I mean, every year you're excited. You want to get going. It's August, 9th, 10th? I don't even know what day it is. We're still 2 months away from even starting our first practice. So our expectations are going to be high for us. Yeah, probably. But, for me, I don't have long time goals. Our short goals should be, hey, getting better every day in practice. We kind of saw what happens last year. That's the great thing about high school basketball, whether it was in Indiana or Kentucky, it's a one game, situation. There's upsets all the time. So I think we have the opportunity to be really good, but we've talked a lot about basketball. We really haven't talked a whole lot about, these guys' characters and, how, well respected they are around the community. You look at these four guys right here. I know for a fact, probably all of them have over a 3.5 GPA, probably close to a 4 GPA. That's nice being a coach. I know we've got a lot of guys that aren't on here that are the same thing. So yes, we have a really good basketball team, but more importantly, we've got a great group of kids. And, for me, that's most important. in 10 years, yeah, are we going to remember, what happened in basketball? Yeah, but I'm trying to instill in them like, hey, let's be really good, high character kids. Let's graduate. Let's go to college. Let's get degrees. Let's be good fathers, good, husbands, things like that. This group's awesome. They treat my daughters, love them. They run around the gym. They know everybody's name. Whether kids graduate, other guys come in, it doesn't matter. For me, that's just as important as wins and losses. Like, as a head coach, it's just, really building a family. And I think that's what we have here. So, yeah, I mean, you don't ever want to look forward too much, and you just kind of want to slow it down and just kind of enjoy it day by day and take it. But yeah, we should be really good, but that's kind of up to these guys.
Like, Brendan kind of talked about, the fourth region's wide open, man. We can see so many great teams be good, but, you guys have that expectation to be great, and I think it's going to happen. I hope to stay in touch with you guys a little bit during the season. I know I talked to a lot of these guys behind the scenes, so being able to come out to games, things like that. Coming into the show, we talked behind the scenes. We wanted to see, 100, 150 people in here. We got to 200 we got to 200, so we had a lot of people, a lot of fans coming in here listening to you guys talk. You guys have a great fan base. I want to ask this last question. If you guys haven't got to talk about something, is there anything you guys want to leave us off with? If everyone's good, man, well, thank everyone for hopping on here and watching tonight. It was a great show getting to talk to these guys with some big expectations at Warren East. Go ahead, Coach.
I do have one thing. And listeners, so we'll just comment. In a one-on-one game, Jordan versus me, 2-11, who would win? Let's comment below. We might even be able to get this maybe Facebook Live.
I want to see all the 11 O's in the chat.
Let's see all the comments.
I mean, from my experience and seeing it in practice,
here we go.
I got my money on Benj because he be.
Yeah, give me Benj. Give me Benj.
Yeah, it'd be
That's
bad.
that's two already. No, but in all seriousness, I appreciate you having us on. So it was fun.
Well, the race just got a little tighter, man, with Brendan picking Jay to win. So we'll have to see, man. Jordan, I hope we see the blonde hair this season in basketball, man. I hope to see a great season out of all of you guys. And like I said, you guys are welcome back on anytime. Thank you guys for coming out here. God bless everyone. Thank